it's overflow. I don't really know what to, cause I'm a restless soul. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't know where to go, yeah, I'm a hopeless soul. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't really know what to, cause I'm a restless soul. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't know where to go, just met you, but you look. Oh girl, you blow my mind. I know what I would like to do, but you just keep on talking. I see your dog needs walking. Your folk drive you insane. I know, yeah, that's true. Of course, you ain't the one to blame. Keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. You keep on talking to me, but I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move.
What's going on? What's going on? We're back. Shout out to the CIA. Come on, Zoom. Let's get it.
Cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yeah. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. To the edge of it all. So tell your good
Get it up. Age, city, gender, demographic. I'm a PhD. Let's go ahead. Get the Zoom going. Hell yeah. I'm fine no matter what. Thank you. Appreciate it. Zabbly.
Not a problem, no. Cause I know what I'm getting into. Yes. Yeah. And nothing can stop me. No. Cause I'm addicted to what you and I
Realize.
Lead the way. I follow. No need to say. Where we are heading.
What can we do better? What's going on? That. Cameras are too high. We are back. Shout out to the CIA. One love to the FBI. How we doing, everybody? Godfather needs to adjust his camera. It's a little bit high. So we're going to adjust it. Oh, come on now. There we go. Come on down. Hope everybody's had a good Saturday. I know I did. You know what? Let's just make sure we get it all the way down so we won't screw that up. And what we'll do is erase this. Keep it even. We build it while we fly, baby. We build it while we fly. There we go. I think that should be a better angle. All right. So, get into it. Let's get into it. We'll figure it out. Shit. So, here we go. How is everybody tonight? I don't like this. I don't like that. I'm a perfectionist. I want to see some asses wiggling. I want some perfection. There we go. Let's do it that way. There. That should be better. All right, so didn't do a show the other night because stuff to do, life happens. Like we'll roll with it. We're gonna roll with it. You guys see the title of the show is Why Can't Modern Women Handle the Truth? And we're gonna do a little Q&A. But the point of this show is to highlight a couple of things. One, that it seems to be something going on with women today that just the truth is just like it's almost like we'll roll with it. It's something that women cannot handle. They refuse to handle it. No matter who is saying it, the truth seems to be just a bridge too far. And I think it's interesting. Shout out to my friend over at No Jumper, Adam22. I want to start this broadcast off with a little something, and then I want to get into the Q&A because I am truly curious to see what we can be doing better. But in the meantime, let's do this.
Badly.
Right.
I'm like, I don't like that. Like,
but don't you think that like the women that he's shitting on, like they deserve it?
no.
Mostly
Whatever the genre
music,
is.
but yeah.
So it's like,
But I just can't listen to another evaluation of another woman's dating situation. Like
you
over.
had Kevin Samuels on?
Yeah, and I
think
friends,
he's a terrible person.
Okay, we could talk about that. But I just have
terrible
a lot
person.
of friends who like watch this shit over and over, and I'm like, bro, at a certain point, don't you feel like you've just
I'm a
learned
terrible
enough
person
about
according
like
to this
unhappy women who are like having a hard time dating?
It's not like the clips at first to me, like they were jarring to see, but like building a brand on shitting on black girls, like I don't like that.
You really think that's what it is, though?
100%. I think some of the advice has been,
So,
I would say conducive, but like for the most
telling the truth is shitting on women these days. Telling the truth is shitting on women. And I'm going to use this clip to kind of highlight a growing problem with women in the danger zone as it persists, that no truth is not toxic or is not insulting, if not ladled in with a bunch of superficial sweetness. But I want you to understand that every one of my critics that keeps talking about this tone stuff, notice the tone when they speak about me and the desire they have for me. It's like, oh, I don't like what he's saying, but I can't wait till somebody fuck him up.
part, like, no, your most viral and salacious shit is really talking about women badly.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't like that. Like,
But don't you think that like the women that he's shitting on, like they deserve it?
no,
Really?
no, I don't.
I think like the point that I was so easily able to call from the Kevin Samuels thing was just like, these women are being raised to not understand what the fuck is going on. Like they just really
Telling
think,
girls they're fat, looking like a linebacker, shit like that. Like, that's fucking nuts.
the women that he says that to are the women.
Telling women that they're fat or looking like a linebacker is fucking nuts. So what are we supposed to say? What are we supposed to tell you, ladies? That when you're 5'8" and 230 pounds, that you're gorgeous, that you're what every man dreams about. See, the problem with the women like this and so many women in the danger zone have is because they're coming to a very hard realization right now that out there in the world, many of them did not have or don't have what their mothers and grandmothers had. That's a man, a dating life. Women in the West worldwide are coming to the conclusion that their PhD,
I'm a PhD.
and everything else doesn't matter a hill of beans, because the very men that you want, the high value men that you want, don't see you. You're invisible. Most of you lack femininity or your body count or whatever. And the fact of the matter is, it's like no criticism. Now, I'm going to say Adam did a good job here, basically flipping up and saying, well, what about when women do have to do it to men? I want you all to focus on this person. They all act like they haven't seen my show. And I'm going to judge based on what they say, not what I think. You're talking about somebody based on clips. But you're going to say he's a horrible person. No, ma'am. Women like you just don't like the truth. And the truth is, you made your choices, just like men make their choices. And men deal with the consequence of those choices. What women are starting to find out is they're not really ready to deal with the consequences of their choices. That's what freedom is. Freedom to win, freedom to fail.
Who think that they're going to get some, like I've seen these women who are like 300 pounds saying that they deserve a guy who's making, $1 million a year and shit. And it's like, that's not going to happen for you. Like, you are crazy for thinking that this is how the world works. And for him to have to even tell them that is pretty shocking to me.
It's just shocking to watch him speak that way because I don't really see the caliber of woman he could get. Like, I don't.
Let's knock this shit out of the park right now. Ma'am, let's be honest. You're you, I'm me. I've never had a problem getting any caliber of woman I want. This is the same sign language shit that always goes on. Well, who is he to say that? The women I deal with, if I were to bring them on camera, would shut your mouth quickly. Adam 22 has seen them. But again, this is what women in this... They always go back to, wait, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? See, it always comes to the ad hominem when the truth comes out. Well, let me see your pedigree. Let's see your PhD. Let's see your ranking. Let's see who you date. See, I will never, ever expose the women in my life to this madness because I could put an angel on this screen and somebody would find something wrong with her, especially women who hate the truth. Honestly, they sit back and watch this program and laugh. They're like, wow, these women really believe this. He's not on my level. Really? Really? I may not be your cup of tea, but let's not act like my tea does not get served. Anytime. I'm to the point to where women are so willing to suspend belief that I've actually heard women who are straight up fours by any stretch of the imagination, 300 plus pounds, talking about who you think he is. He don't even look that good. He ain't even in that. How good does a man need to look for you? But again, it's the same stuff. Criticize the man, insult the man. And gentlemen, I need you to understand why they get so upset. Because I advocate for you. Because typically, a man like myself is supposed to be selling she's a queen, she's a goddess, she's a this, she's a that. I'm supposed to be saying the things that they want to hear to sell books and t-shirts and things like that. But because I have the nerve to stand 10 toes down, flat-footed for men, the very women who would be lining up to see me if I spoke a different way, they would be, you think the iPhone gets something? If I talk the way these women wanted me to talk, they would be acting like I'm the iPhone 14. They'd be out there for weeks waiting for me to get out there. But because I speak for you, it looks like Father's Day at church. Empty.
But why does it have to go to that right away? I think the thing that's shocking
it goes to that right away because you do need to be exemplary of what you're saying to people. I'm not listening. That's what the Donald Trump bullshit was.
Right, but he dresses very well.
You can't tell us how we need to be a country that's this, and that when your shit is fucked up and you could barely be eloquent.
Right.
Like, don't tell me that I deserve a person who looks like this when, like, Kevin Samuels is 6.5, 7.
Right, but the thing about Kevin Samuels is that it's not about him. It's like
6.5, 7, madly successful, very popular. Lots of people know me, and I was that before I got here. And I don't make the same kind of petulant little childlike argument that so many of you ladies get because you get upset with just the truth. Why is this important? Because modern women simply can't handle the truth. So much so that here comes the shame, insults, guilt, the need to be right. Now they're starting to try to recruit people to try to come at me. I want to see somebody kick his ass. Why don't you just get better? Why don't you just become the women that your mother, your grandmother, and your great-grandmother were? The women that got married and kept men? Why don't you become the women that men actually want Instead of trying to say, well, I want to see his woman. Trust me, my woman ain't got nothing for you. You can't hold a candle to the women I deal with. And I will tell you right now, when I do decide, if I do decide, you'll be able to hear a rat piss on cotton, because I don't deal with trash. Trust and believe.
Number one, like, yes, he dresses nice and he came in here with an attractive woman and stuff. So he's doing what he can to paint the picture. But I think that the main thing that his content points out is just how women have had their hand held through life so much and are so not used to being told what's real. And on the other hand, it's like, if you're a fat dude who's ugly and is not going to get any pussy, I mean, it's just, the world is lining up to let you know that you ain't shit. And a lot of these women, they
fat
figure
guys
it,
get fucked. That's not true.
They figure it out at like 35 that they're just not, the world is just not as accommodating as they've been told their whole life.
Fat guys get screwed. Yes, because fat guys who get screwed have had to make themselves valuable. See, what she didn't say is fat, unattractive, broke guys get screwed. See, and gentlemen, we know this. So, like I say to all my critics and detractors who tell me my tone and this and what woman you're dealing with, tell you what, sis, homegirl, you bring your man, I bring my woman. Let's see what happens. Let's take pictures. Let's line up side by side and let's see what happens.
I'll make you famous.
I don't think you want to do that. It'll be a bad goddamn day for you.
And now we have Kevin Samuels to let them know. And I think that he's actually doing important work.
I can't wait for Dr. Umar to get his ass. I really hope they get
it. And hey, let me say this too. Dr. Umar and any other black men, do not allow women to put batteries in your back. This is a main thing that has brought the black community down right here. When a black woman cannot defeat the argument, she wants to send somebody at the black man to destroy. So that's like, I can't wait for Dr. Umar. What do Dr. Umar and I disagree with? Black families with black people, black men lead and black men taking responsibility of building the community. What do we disagree with? Black boys at the bottom need to be improved. What do we disagree with? Outside the fact of calling you queen, mother, goddess, sea moss gold. We don't disagree on a whole lot. And I guarantee you, things we disagree with as men, we will slide that to the side because the things we agree with are a lot greater. See, that's what you women don't understand. It's because your asses get petty and snippy and catty with women. You can't overtake men because you can't even work together. You got women who don't like some chick from the 4th grade because of something she did and the other chick don't even know. And you want men to act catty. You're not going to get men to act catty like women because we understand without us, this thing falls apart. So stop trying to recruit men to come and go get him, Dr. Umar. Go get him. Dr. Umar got his own business. He got his own purpose. And trust me, before he can do anything with you, he's going to need men like me to help him realize his dream. Check your shit at the door. Get better instead of trying to get me. Look at this. This is how far they'll go because they can't handle the truth. Stop him. Stop him. Don't say it. Go beat him up. Shut him down. This is why 911 ends up at your house, police knocking on your door. Adam 22 ain't calling nobody on me. It's my Nubian queen.
But Dr. Umar's living in a fantasy world. Kevin talks about real shit.
How is Dr. Umar in a fantasy?
Because he kind of relies on these like fake arguments too of being like, you say mean things to black women. It's not really about that.
No, Dr. Umar is like way deep. Mind you, he's super homophobic and I can't even believe I'd be sticking up for him like this. But like, right. I have really seen Dr. Umar for the good in what he's taught people about blackness that I fuck with.
Oh, you heard that? Now, I don't know what her sexual preference or orientation is, but she said he's super homophobic, so I'm going to agree. I'm going to assume that she's at least in favor. But she's seen the good that he's doing so about blackness, so she fuck with it. Then I challenge you, ma'am. Don't speak my name again. Don't say a word about me until you understand who the hell you're talking about. And that's another problem in our community. People are always talking about people before they actually go do their research. If you don't do your research on me, keep my name out your mouth, please. Especially if you want to speak with some sort of authority, talk about I'm a horrible person. You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know about the content. And I will put your warped, small perspective against the dozens and hundreds of black women who have said thank you to me. The mothers, the wives, the daughters who say, I'm a better wife, I'm a better daughter, I'm a better spouse, my husband and my future generations, thank you. Go to my comment section. I don't post I could post them, but I'm not going to. But see, that would be too much like right. Because all you have to do, gentlemen, is just say something that they don't like, and then boom. See, in our community, it's real easy. They don't want to listen to you unless they like what you look like. And then you got to say what they want to hear. If those two things aren't there, then you might as well be invisible. Problem is, I can be seen.
Him for it. I think like when I'm making the Dr. Umar Kevin Samuels joke, I really just want someone to see Kevin Samuels. Like I want to see someone really tell him about himself because I think he needs that. I'm not that person to do that. You're not that person to do that. But
now, why don't you come tell me about myself? Why don't you do that? Since though you know so much about me, why don't you come tell me about myself? See, the problem is women don't like to be told about themselves. All I do is take calls and have consensual conversations with willing adults and just ask questions. That's it. But I have the nerve to do it. I have the nerve to just ask the uncomfortable question. And it doesn't matter if I have a 23-minute conversation with somebody on the wrong day about the wrong topic, someone who could afford to book service. Doesn't matter. All you remember is the 2-3 seconds of a 23-minute clip that I didn't sit there and kiss somebody's foot and tell them man, if you don't get out of here.
Dr. Umar, I think it really tear his ass the fuck up.
But I don't know. I just don't.
And let me qualify. If we debate the subject matter, the facts, the data, the statistics, the outcomes, not the opinions. If we debate the subject matter, anybody.
I think that the arguments that I heard from that viral video about Kevin Samuels, I just didn't think that's not going to hold any weight. If they're going head to head in a debate, I just think Kevin's going to wash the floor with him because it's so much more ground level perspective of how we actually know that people operate.
It's just the message that he's giving. He's not really telling you like you need to like, put your standards in check. He's really like shitting on these girls to the point where he's like, this is what you deserve. And
but
I think
those are the women who call in and ask for relationship advice. So it's kind of hard for me to I agree. If you were to just choose a random woman in the public eye and just start rating her.
Listen to this. He's doing this. He's doing that. You watch my content, how long? And this is a person, and this is another content creator. Talking about a content creator, you don't watch my stuff. You should know better. But honestly, you do watch. You watch enough to know that I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to call it right down the middle. And wait till you hear one of the most outrageous points. Because I've debunked so many of these superficial, easy, second grade arguments. Shout out to Kwame Brown. I told you, this is quicksand. You fools is too easy. You got to come better with this. You're used to dealing with people that are just going to back down. I'm going to lean into the argument to see what you got.
Dating possibilities that would be very like bad,
in a way it's like the Jerry Springer shit, right? It's like, yo, why do they go on this show
right.
when they watch every week and they know they about to look crazy,
right?
But I don't know, maybe it's hard for me because of the age, maybe because they're black women. Like I just feel like every clip I've seen when he's shitting on a girl, they're black, and like that's really hard for me to watch.
I feel like that's just his audience.
Every clip she see me shitting on a black woman, ma'am, disingenuous at best. Clip with almost 1 million views on it with me talking to 3 non-black women. 2 of them. On WorldStar. Countless videos on WorldStar, me talking to non-black women. Countless videos on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook memes. Knock it off. The fact of the matter is, you, just like Sister Shahrazad Ali said almost 40 years ago, black women have been held apart from introspection, critique, and they're part of the problem. And that's the problem. You have not been critiqued to where any critique seems to like you, that you're bashing. You expect to win everything you do. Have you ever seen somebody who just expects to win all the time, and when they finally lose, they're shocked? Look on your left ring finger. Do you have a man of value actively vetting you to be his wife? If that's not what you want, like it or not, we got 1 out of 4 black women were married. At least double that number want to be married. Because the next lowest rate of married people in this country is white women at 54%. Just admit, you don't like the truth, because the truth is going to make you have to be accountable solely for your part.
I feel like he would be eager to talk shit to a white woman.
It might. You think so?
I don't really see, like, I don't think it's like racialized, besides the fact that he just has a largely black audience.
Well, I just mean the
white
viral
woman?
clips of, like, you calling girls ugly. Like, they're always.
And believe me, he takes it way too far. He says the rudest, most fucked up shit I could ever think
That's
of.
what I mean.
And he knows that he's doing that, and he's going to get extra.
No, I don't take it way too far. I match energy. What you see, it may be too far for you, but I give exactly what needs to be given, because we don't start out far. We start out exactly where we need to start. The problem is some people only hear far. And that's what you folks need to understand. Stop shooting the messenger, because look about it. Every time I've taken it too far, it's because every incremental adjustment was being overstepped.
Media attention from his audience for, like.
But see, Howard Stern, a Charlemagne, people like that can make those moments happen without being that disgusting.
Who?
That's talent. What Kevin Samuels is doing
Who?
is just like mean. The way that you can bring out things to people and either get them a little riled up or angry or whatever, like, that's not you really, really shitting on someone for this fucking moment. That kind of shit, I don't really like that.
I would never want to be in the position of having to do the kind of content that Kevin Samuels does. But actually, that's why I think it's almost kind of like brave, because Charlemagne, like, would never speak to a woman on his show that way. Granted, he doesn't interview just like random ass women who have nothing going for him, but I feel like he has too much of a career. He knows that his career would probably fucking torpedo if he said that kind of shit. The point, though, I think, is just to be real, just be honest.
Charlemagne doesn't need to do that.
But don't you think we're in a...
And that's the point. Nobody else can risk doing it. And she said it doesn't need to be done. Oh, 1 million subscribers and men every night say it does. See, and that's what bothers them. I don't know why they keep coming back. Why they keep coming back? Because just like the countless of men I've spoken to today, shout out to you, brother. Hope you and your wife had a lovely anniversary. You know who I'm talking about. Black men after 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 other 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 men after woman after woman after woman. Every time I go out, I hear thank you. So to all you women who can't seem to understand that this is actually helping. But see, it only helps the people who want to be helped. It only helps the people who actually want something healthy. It's going to facilitate a conversation. You get to understand where the men are coming from. See, the problem is, think about the hype. Think about the anaphylactic reaction I get. It's almost like Kevin Samuels' derangement syndrome. One guy with one YouTube channel gets all this heat when you've had 40 years of men ain't crap. To the point to where he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to do that. The nerve of you. Maybe you need to be quiet and listen instead of talking about what you don't know. But that's the problem with women not being able to handle the truth. They want to shut down discourse so it can just go back to being comfortably numb. Okay, here's the problem with that. You're not getting the outcomes you want.
Society that really disincentivizes being honest.
Is honesty calling someone a linebacker?
I mean, if she's the size of a linebacker, then
Dude,
she's a
please stop.
linebacker, right? I mean,
I feel bad, bro. Like,
nobody would ever get on a woman's ass for saying the same thing to a fat man, basically, is what I would say about that.
the way that he shits on people, I don't know, bro. And I feel like fat guys get fucked, bro. Like, I fuck chunky dudes. Like,
I know that the world is set up unfairly, for sure.
It is, because I started to look past it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'd be like, all right, he's funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're correct.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so We'll screw fat dudes, but we ain't talking about just short-term hookups over here. We're talking about relationship. So shout out to Adam22 because I appreciate the fact that he, they have the conversation. And I think more and more men who may not even necessarily like what I do understand the need for it. And this is what so many of you ladies are going to have to understand. You're in the minority here. Listen to what the men are saying. But why is it the women cannot handle the truth? Here we go. If you want to get on a Zoom call, this is what you do. You have to click to the Zoom link. If you want to be side by side on the Godfather. Oh yeah, what are we doing here? Oh, we don't even. Oh, the likes are just like deplorable. What do you? No. Oh, hit them up. Y'all want the call-in portion? Y'all want the interaction? Get the likes up. Get them up. All right, here we go. Kimmy, you gonna unmute yourself? Unmute yourself. Okay, you got TVs playing in the background. You got TVs playing in the background. I cannot hear you. I'm going to go into somebody else. You got TVs playing in the background and other stuff. I can't. It's going to give background looping noise. Felicia, go ahead and unmute yourself. No. It's Q&A tonight. Huh? What? No, I think she's having another conversation, y'all. Yeah. Oh, baby. Look, ladies, if you're gonna come in, you gotta make sure you only have one stream playing, one audio, and that's me. That's why you're getting double background noise and all this other kind of stuff. Go ahead and unmute Kimmy. Hello? Hello? How are you? Good. How old are you?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you? How old are you?
Me, I'm 48.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Kimmy?
Okay, I'm 48.
Okay, do you have me on TV or something?
No, you're on my laptop. I'm getting a late feed.
Okay. So here's what you. Okay. So what do you got for me?
I actually agree with what you tell women and how you get on them, mainly because today, too many women are into
You got
single
okay,
mother
ma'am.
stuff, and it's not
Something's
good.
going
It's
on
not
on your
healthy.
side.
It's
Okay,
not
hold on,
healthy for
hold
Black
on.
families.
Okay, ma'am.
And it seems to me like,
ma'am, I have to mute you. I don't know what's going on with your computer, but your speakers are either very loud. You need to get a headphone or something to plug them in, because at first we're getting TV noise. Now when I talk, I'm hearing coming through your speakers, so no one can hear. I can't have that conversation. Sorry about that. When you put some headphones on and you want to join back, I'll be glad to have that. All right. It's the Southern Belle. How are you? Is your audio connected? Let me make sure. You muted yourself. You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, let me unmute myself.
How are you?
I am doing well. How are you, Kevin? You look handsome.
Well, thank you very much. It's Saturday night. We're just chilling.
Well, you got your black on. I said, let me get a little black on too. Let me match your fly.
There we go. So what we're doing? So what we're doing tonight is, one, I always have to have a subject matter to start the conversation off with. But two, I'm asking, what can we do better outside of why can't modern women handle the truth? Or what can we do better? Because it seems to me our critics and detractors always want to talk about how we say it instead of actually getting to the subject. What can we do better in that regard then?
Okay. I'll say this, and I hope I'm not. Is my internet all right, Kevin?
You're good.
Okay. I was one of those women where I didn't like being told what I need to get better because I didn't have to. It was always someone pandering to me. It was always someone telling me that I was better than honestly what I was. And, I made a video about you.
Uh-oh.
I did.
Uh-oh.
And I made a video about you because, a lot of stuff that you tell us as far as women, we haven't heard it. Like, you're different. And I can appreciate that. And it really changed my life. Hey, because I was one of those thinking I was a 10, not knowing I could have lost about 15 pounds.
Right.
I'm old, so I don't know. It's a lot of stuff with women where we don't like to hear the truth because the truth has never been brought to us. It's always been where you're the fault.
Okay.
Not us.
Felicia, you're about to. Hello, Felicia. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you. I apologize. That was me earlier. You were right.
Yeah, that was you. And so, Felicia, I have Felicia on the other end. This is Courtney. Felicia, you said you agree.
Felicia.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Can you hear Courtney?
If Courtney says something, I possibly can.
Hi, Felicia. How are you, darling?
Hi. Yes, I hear you, Courtney. How are you?
Good.
All right, good. So I'm connecting all my systems together.
Okay.
So
get it working.
What did you want to input, Felicia?
I was looking prior to coming on here. I was looking at that call or the interview between the young lady and the man.
Okay.
And it's so easy for people to pick up your name and run with it right now so that they can get clicks and views. Plain and simple. Because if anybody has seen you or that has done any research on you, and because you're going to do a video on somebody, it would stand to reason that you would vet the person and then vet what they're about, and you would look at a myriad of things. And it just looks to me like they were trying to find something to talk about you about so that they could have the clicks and views. And then the young lady was racially ambiguous. So she was on both sides of the fence, just being fair. And it just appeared to be that it was easy to take a pot shot at you because you're doing something. Is this the clip
I just showed with Adam, with the white man and the black woman?
Yes.
See,
yes, it was.
If I want to say
amazing.
That, well, I know Adam. I did his podcast, and I don't want to say the title of the other lady's show, but let's just say they have a show. It's a sex show. And it's a very liberal show. And here's the thing. In YouTube right now, my name is trending, of course, but everyone has an opinion. The problem is the opinions, people try to mask their opinions as being uninformed when she could really just come out and say, it's just, I don't like the way he says it. I don't like the truth. That's really what it is. Because you can't say I'm a horrible person, you don't watch, and then you say you want Dr. Umar when we align in what most of the stuff we say. So, Courtney, I got a question for you though. I hear a lot of women say that they've never heard this kind of stuff before. And it always fascinates me. Is it because do you hear from your brothers or do you hear from any of your cousins? Or do you not just, or is it just you don't hear it? Because I think that women have heard it before, just the men they've heard it from, they don't pay attention to.
Well, that's twofold.
Okay.
So, have I heard it from my father? No, majority of us don't have our fathers. Now, maybe I've heard it from my brothers. Yes, but I'm not listening to them. Like, they're my brothers. You were 2-3 years apart. We fighting, so it, as a young child, their ideas and what they said didn't hold weight.
Right.
What holds weight is fathers. Fathers are so important. And you speak like a father. And a lot of women that I know listen to you, and I get messages every day. And they be like, "Oh, Kevin said, he changed me. I'm a better wife. I'm a better mother. I got a man because of him." Like, I hear these things. And I am one to tell you that you've changed my life as well, because I didn't hear that. And it's unfortunate that in our 30s, we're hearing what has been told years on with men, but we've just been programmed to not listen to you. We've been programmed not to listen to men. We've been programmed to, I'm going to tell you what you want. I'm going to tell you what you're going to listen to. You're going to listen to me. You want that? This is what I'm going to give you.
What do you think about that, Felicia? Have you guys been programmed to not listen to us? Okay, I'm 52. I'm 52 and Courtney's in her 30s, right? You're in her 30s?
Yeah, I'm seasoned now, Kevin. Don't throw my age out there like that now. But I'm in my 30s. Yeah, I'm seasoned in my 30s. And that's fine. And I hate that I wasn't.
Hold on, you guys are talking at the same time, Court. She's talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You were raised with your stepdad? Say again?
I can't hear
her. Uh-oh. Don't you start cussing on this channel, Felicia. Don't be cussing at them like that.
Uh-oh. About how not to get ourselves involved in cheating on me.
Okay, so let me catch everybody. Let me catch everybody up to where Felicia was saying, because a bit of it was cut off. Felicia was saying that she was raised. When I asked her about, were you raised to not pay attention to us? She said yes, and she started talking about how her stepfather raised her and her siblings to where the boys took care of the outside of the house and women took care of the inside of the house. Go ahead, Felicia.
Yeah, so my dad and my brothers were outside. They were, doing the pool on the weekends. We were raised in a pretty decent neighborhood, but it didn't matter. My father raised us to understand the money that he had was his.
Right.
And when we get older, we had a couple of ideas to have. We either got a job, we went to school, or the military. And if we got a job, we had to be going to school in the house. Those are his rules. And so we either abided by them or we got out. And it didn't matter. 18 years old, you're out.
Let me ask you a question. That because I get dinged all the time by apparently. Anyway, what advice would you give to young women, let's say about to head off to college or between the age of 18 and 26? What advice would you give them regarding men and relationships?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah. Yeah, because I have a lot of young women that are coming here trying to glean advice because popular media and culture is giving them, hey, do whatever you want. And good, bad, or indifferent, not necessarily getting it at home. So they're looking to have some kind of direction. If a woman wants to have a husband and a nuclear family, I don't care if she wants to be a stay-at-home wife or not. She just wants to be married and have a family. What advice would you give 18 to 20? I'm gonna say 18 to 24, and
18 to
specifically in the
24.
Black community. Yeah.
In the Black community,
Yep.
18 to 24 in the Black community, I want to let you know, if you're listening, not to listen to the old woman in the family that does not have a husband. Please do not listen to her, because she's going to tell you to do everything that my dad taught me the opposite of. And that was, she's going to tell you to get your education first. She's going to tell you to, if you do get with a man, hide some money to the side and keep that over here so that you'd always have an easy out if you had to leave. All of those things that the older women told us while we were growing up, believe it or not, harmed us. And then we are now your mothers. And if we did not all have fathers like my dad, we have told you to be that strong Black independent woman. But what we didn't tell you, if that was the case, is that there are going to be a lot of lonely nights. There really are. There really are.
Let me say, I want to add something, because the second part about the squirreling of the money away to the side so you can have an easy out. And one thing I've heard over and over, and I witnessed, that initial separation creates an air of it's always in case, and then it starts small, but then it starts to magnify to where women are going against their feminine nature to be nurturers and caregivers, to where not loving, not sharing, not doing it. It's almost like that little thing becomes a mess of entangled roots of just holding themselves back. So I've talked to so many women who've never written their man a love letter. Never. Because anything you do for a man in our community is considered pick me. It's like you're bowing down. So it's like, and I'm gonna say this, Black women, and it is the very thing that non-Black women lead with. That's why you end up losing so many of your higher value Black men, because they lead with the.
Can I say this, Kevin?
There's a book.
Let me say
the first
this.
thing that I would do for that young
Because
woman is I would give
Hold on, Felicia. Let Courtney go ahead.
Thank
Courtney,
you.
go ahead.
So I'll say this. I was raised as a woman to be independent and strong, and you don't need a man. You get your education, you travel the world, a man will be there. And I'm a Christian woman. And so, of course, with Christianity, a lot of us are like, God is going to bring you a man. All you got to do is work and be jolly and be sweet. I was never taught how to put in the work. And unfortunately, in my 30s, I am kind of learning that. And then, I'm learning femininity and I'm taking classes. I listen to you. Like I said, am I taking cooking classes? Yes. I took how to, there's different stuff online that I've learned how to be a wife, especially with Black women. So I'm online learning how to be that. So I am putting in the work on becoming a wife.
You know what?
Now,
men weren't raised to be the men we needed to be. I've said that myself. That's why I never talk ill of my exes. I wasn't the man I needed to be. Even with the things that went wrong, I still have to hold headship. But see, what I think is going to have to happen with our groups is we're going to have to give each other grace. For you to learn in your 30s, and men are going to have to understand that you're trying to do that. But what I'm hearing more from men is that they're starting to see women actually try things that they're not accustomed to seeing women try, Black women in particular. That's why I kind of just fell back when I was talking about that whole gift thing. And with men, it's really, we're simple. And the little things go a long way. Some spaghetti and apple pie do a whole hell of a lot. Let me see if I can get somebody else on here. Hold on.
Well, you know what? I agree, because now that I'm learning, and then it's, projecting and dating now, and I've been blessed to be able to meet some quite quality men.
There you go.
And they're like, oh my God, I've never had someone do this for me. And, and I'm just like, but this is because I've become a wife, and they're not used to Black women catering to a Black man, or not even just catering, but being happy to cater. Like my little act like I'm not gonna be like, babe, I got you, boo.
Well, I would tell you that the first time I've told this story before. The first time I ever dated a non-Black woman, it confused me. And I've told the story about one time when I was sick, and this person came by my house, cleaned up my house, made me some ant soup, but she made it. But she
You had no seasoning.
No, but I was just shocked that she brought my favorite pizza and everything else, and I asked, and it was like, and I was confused because I had never had that before, except from the women in my family. And then when I went to a fraternity meeting, I was like, oh, that's how I had that happen with this kind of woman, that kind of woman, and it was like, well, wait a minute, our mothers and grandmothers, we saw that love, but it's like our generation of women were told to hold the very femininity back that's your superpower, to where you don't have to overperform like women of years past. Just learn a few things. Hold on, let me see if I can get what's her name.
Go ahead, bring them on, because like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited about it, Kevin. When I tell you, I'm when I get married.
There you go, Candace. Can you hear me?
Serve him.
Speak up, Candace. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yep, you're muted. Your audio's not on. So we're gonna go to Jasmine and see if Jasmine's unmuted. Yeah, that's why I say the next time will be the last time for me. People have to ask, "Would you get married again?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I know who I am and what I need now. And
well, let me ask you, Kevin, because I see a lot of men that are straying away from marriage.
Well,
why?
Well, unfortunately, a reality is today that right now, I've learned a very sobering lesson in the Black community. No matter what most sisters say, they want you to be able to pay all the bills. And most men don't fit into that category. So many men are straying from it because to be an average or even above average man today in a marriage, when men are already feeling devalued, doesn't seem like a very good value proposition. Women are going to have to make above average men an offer they can't refuse. That's why I'm going to start a series called "Make Them an Offer They Can't Refuse," like The Godfather. Jasmine, can you hear me?
The Godfather.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, how old are you?
29.
All right, what do you got for us?
So you want to know why is it? I forgot the question about modern women.
Okay, it's about modern women and the truth. What's going on with modern women not being able to handle the truth?
Okay, so I've just started listening to you, and you kind of like changed my actual perception of things, a lot of things.
Okay.
So I feel like it does go to that masculinity, because I didn't grow up with like my father or whatever. Even though I grew up in a household of two married parents, I didn't grow up with my father. So it's like I always had an attitude of like, I got it. I don't need nobody. Like, I do everything. So I feel like we get on the fence just because we are so much in our masculinity.
Okay.
So it's like, it's be like, oh, who are you to tell me something? Because that's what's my attitude.
Okay.
So I'm talking right now from experience. I'm talking from me. Like, that's how I used to be until.
Do you have any children?
I do.
How many?
I have 3 boys.
All with the same father?
No.
Okay. Fall back for a second. Because how many different fathers?
3.
Okay. And how's your Court? I'm gonna get right back to you. How's your relationship with your fathers?
So my relationship with 2 of them is okay. We get along. I even have a relationship with their other partners.
Okay.
One of the fathers, me and him bumped heads a lot. We both had, attitudes and did stuff to each other. So me and him just really don't even speak, but I communicate with his partner. So I'm neutral.
How old is your oldest?
He's 13.
And your youngest is?
19 months, one.
Okay. So what I often tell single mothers is think of it this way. Most women will kill you for their kids, and most mothers will really do some damage for their boys, especially young ones.
Mm-hmm.
But think about, would you want your sons to bring you home as their wife? Would you want you as a daughter-in-law? The version of you that didn't need to be told nothing and that and that.
Oh, then that version of me?
Hmm?
Oh, hell no.
Okay. See, one of the easiest ways I can end up communicating with
and my bad.
That's okay. One of the easiest ways I end up communicating with women is I don't make it about me and you. I make it about your kid and start to say, all right, if women were being, you're going to do your best to raise your boys in a way that they're going to make you and society proud. But who are they going to get with in the world is the question. And one of the first things boys look at is they look at a mother as the kind of woman to get with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said you got one is 16?
13.
13. So in a few short years, he gonna have him a little. Yeah. And have you thought about how you gonna feel about your first baby with one of these little fast girls, so to speak?
I haven't because I not yet. I've been so caught up in trying to perfect me.
Okay.
So not really yet. I've been lacking in that area.
Okay. What I will say is his father in his life?
To a certain extent.
Okay. At this age in a boy's life, he needs masculine guidance. And I'm glad you're trying to focus on you, but here's the unfortunate part of being a single parent. You got to spin more plates than you have hands. Because if his dad's not there, right now is a critical phase for boys between 13 and 18 are make or break years. This is the age. These are the ages where he starts to surpass you in physical height. When his voice cracks for the first time and he get them little knots in his chest, and the testosterone, your towels ain't gonna be safe. Don't be asking where your lotion go, Mama. You got some things coming for you, and he's going to need some direction because the kind of woman he deals with, you gotta know, is going to make or break his future. Wrong woman, he could easily end up being what? A teenage father? So I'm going to encourage you to actually work on you, but boys at that age in particular need male structure and guidance. Do you got any brothers, uncles? Is he involved in anything where he's just immersed with masculine energy and testosterone?
So he does boxing.
Okay.
That's about it.
All right. What state do you live in?
Illinois.
Chicago?
Yeah, outside
Okay.
Chicago.
All right. Well, is he in any team sports?
It's not a team. They just kind of go there and practice during the week.
I mean, when he's in school, will he be?
Oh, no.
Will he be, okay.
No, ever since COVID.
Okay. One thing, boys need to be around men, and that teamwork stuff, the stuff you learn from not being around your siblings, is really important. And you got three boys. That's a handful. That's a handful. So, I hope you reach out to any resources that are going to be available around you. But always remember this, that boys are going to model the kind of women they pick off their mother. And you got to ask, am I being the kind of woman I want my boys to bring through the door? Because that first love map is something. Now the one that's 13, he's pretty much who he's going to be. But 19 months, keep watching, keep hanging out. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna get back to somebody else on here. Chi-Town in the house. Guys, I'm going to jump out. So here's what okay. I'm not everything for everybody. I know Kwame Brown, he talks a lot about helping the youth and the boys and that kind of stuff. I'm much better with boys when they get older. You got to be around high school years, college. Even if I were a teacher, I would have preferred to teach those years. Look, when it comes right down to it, ladies, understand the truth is not your enemy. And that's one of the unfortunate things is we often look at the truth as being mean. Okay, when we hit the recession of 2008 and gas went from $1.50 to $4 a gallon, gas prices was mean. It was mean in the mud. But unfortunately, what happened? Human beings learned how to adjust. We learned to adjust and moved on. KW. We learned how to adjust and move on. I'm going to try to bring you in one at a time. I see you, Courtney. Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. What's your K? Is that it? Is that fine? K?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 31.
All right. So what do we got? Why is modern women? Was the truth so hard to handle? Or did you have a question?
Well, I can answer that question. I think the truth is hard because it will allow or it will force a lot of women to like have to look in the mirror and self-reflect, and like even though a lot of women have been done wrong, it's always things that we could have done to prevent, whatever happened, whether it be relationship wise or why we ended up in the position we're in or whatever. And it's hard, especially when you're still angry or you're jaded, to just say, okay, I should have did that, or I messed up here or whatever. Like, it's difficult to accept that and admit that because you still want to be angry or blame somebody else. So it's hard to like self-reflect.
So let me ask you a question. How old did you say you are? 29?
31.
Uh-oh. Do you have women around you who can be honest with you and just tell you the truth? Okay. What do you want out of life regarding relationships? Would you like to be married one day? I can't. Is that yes? Hello? You muted yourself? I don't know. Did you mute yourself? Because I can't hear you. Yeah, you muted yourself. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me? Oh, I didn't mean to hit anything. But yes, I would like to be married.
Okay. Would you like children?
I have 1 10-year-old.
Okay. And how's the relationship with your dad? His dad?
With my child's father? We're mutual, but he's in another relationship.
All right. So do you want any additional children?
No.
Do you care if the man you're seeing has children?
No. And I'm willing to date. Like, my preference is like older men for that's like the main reason.
Okay.
So I'm willing to date older.
So
because I don't want any more children.
Okay. So I've got to be honest. See, this is why I think women need to have women around them that can tell the truth. Mm-hmm. because y'all don't tend to listen to us first. If you want to be married and you have a 10-year-old, that means you got a kid that's going to be with you at least another 8 years.
Mhm.
It is a very difficult proposition for a man to go into a marriage knowing he's not going to have any additional children. That removes almost 80% of the reason that men want to get married.
Even if
So,
it's an older man.
well, no, not necessarily if he's an older man, but this is where the competition thing comes in play. You still got a child that you're going to be with 8 years. He could easily go find a woman who's younger with no kids. It's
Mhm.
not going to, because it's cheaper. See,
Okay.
as a single mother, you are going to have to outperform your childless self. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Meaning,
So
go ahead. Go ahead.
my question is, what is the solution to that? Because I still, I've only been watching some of your content maybe like in the past week or two.
Okay.
So, but I haven't heard like a lot of solutions. Like I'm open to like feedback because I don't want any more kids. So
Why
what?
don't you? Well, okay. First off, we got to understand, why don't you want any more children?
Because my child is 10 and I'm single, like I'm not dating anybody. So I would have to meet someone, get to know them, get into a relationship, get married. So by the time I do that, how old do you think my child will be? Like 13, 14? So then I just don't want to start the entire process over. I don't want to have like a teenager and a newborn,
Okay.
if that makes sense. Just as like a mother and knowing like
Okay.
my
All right.
limit.
So the solution is to wait till your child uh, graduates.
I've thought about that. But then you
Because,
talk about like the
but
clock.
listen. But okay, see, here's the reality. As a single mother, there are all the choices are not easy. Because the
Right.
first thing I thought of was, you're selfish. You want, this is about you. I don't want to have an age gap. I don't want to have to do this. Marriage is not something you do for yourself. It is something you do for everything else other than you. Duty, respect, honor. That's what makes a 30, 40, 50-year relationship. If the man wants kids and you don't want kids, that's selfish for you. Understand the reason. So that would mean you may be perfectly lovely, but he's got to go into somebody and give him a child. Now, I'm going to ask a hard question. Is it that you don't want to have children, or you just don't want to have what you've already had, which likely wasn't a positive motherly experience? Okay, you mute yourself again. If you don't get your fingernails off the buttons, stop muting yourself.
Every time I swipe, it just
Okay, well,
mutes me. I'm sorry.
I don't know why you
So,
keep swipe. I don't know why you keep swiping. Does your phone keep ringing or something?
no.
Okay.
So I don't think it's just me being selfish. I think like I know the
Well,
type of woman.
what I asked you initially is that,
Mhm.
did you have a positive motherly experience?
No.
Okay, so ma'am, listen to what I'm about to say.
Mhm.
You were how old when you had your child?
21.
You were 21 in a healthy, happy, loving, committed marriage where you met a man, he met your family, you met his family. He did the traditional things, proposed to you, got your father's blessing. Your family paid for the wedding. Your friends came. You got the ceremony and everything, and then you guys lived together and as newlyweds and enjoyed each other for a little bit of time. And then you got pregnant. And regardless of what, especially if you had a man who's a provider, and you had good health insurance and was able to have your baby in a safe environment, whether you took the FMLA 13 weeks off or you took out the first 2 years, 3 years, or whatever, and you had somebody there day in, day out, week in, week out, your experience would have been massively different, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Do you think you would still have the same opinion if your husband were to unfortunately be passed, if you were a widow and you were to look at marrying again? Would you still say, I don't think I want any more children?
I'm really not sure. Probably not. But when I say I don't think it's selfish, it's because I'm thinking about like the type of woman I want to be and the type of wife I want to be like
What
to
is
my
that?
man. And
What is that?
being like I want to be able to be more lighthearted and just like my more womanly or bubbly self. And I think that when I'm a mom or when you have a newborn, it's just a lot of work and it's a lot of mental strain and
Of course,
physical
it's a lot of
strain.
work when you're a single mother. It's a lot of work when you're a
Yeah,
single mother. Okay, and this is why having a child out of wedlock is so traumatic.
I agree. I listen.
So,
I
so,
preach that
so,
to
I mean, and
everybody I know.
what I'm trying to get you to understand is, okay, let's start here. Uh, if you're married, do you want to have to work to pay significant bills in the household?
No.
Okay. What percentage of the family financial load do you want to have to be responsible for a lifetime? What percentage? Yeah. Like right now, you have to be responsible for 100% of your family's financial load for a lifetime.
Right.
When married, what percentage would you want to have to be responsible for?
Ideally, 0.
Okay. So you want a man to come in. And what state do you live in?
Arizona.
Arizona. How much is a man going to have to make to facilitate you, a child, and him, and a wife that doesn't work?
6 figures.
Uh-huh.
In Arizona.
Okay, 6 figures can be anywhere from $100,000 to $999,000.
Maybe $250K. This is just a guess.
Yeah, that's about it. And did you go to college?
No.
Okay. What percentage of men in this country earn $200,000 or more?
Oh, I've heard you say this before. It's a very small, like less than 10%. It's a very small percentage.
No, that's less than 100. That's over 100. You talk about men in the top 3% of men. And I'm going to be very honest with you, ma'am. Men in the top 3% are not looking to pay for anybody else's children. They can go make their own families. Men like that want legacy because they've had to make themselves a high value man. They don't want to provide for another man's legacy. Every dollar they put in your child is paying for another man. It is biologically ridiculous for us to do that. Let's take it away from human beings, okay? If a new set of male lions takes over a pride of female lions, what happens to the lion cubs from the other men?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know. Lions are ruthless, so I don't know.
No. What do you think though? You got 5 lionesses, you got 7 cubs, and you had 2 lions there. Then you get 2 more lions come and depose those other 2 lions. So those other 2 lions get run off or killed or something, and the 5 lionesses are there and the 7 cubs. What happened to the 7 cubs?
They something to where they're no longer around.
You're an adult. What does that mean? Something to
They
where they
kill them.
What do you think happens?
Do they kill the cubs?
I'm asking. Do you think they raised them?
Probably not.
What do the mothers do with them?
I don't know.
Okay, this is the unfortunate part that we've allowed women to not even understand nature. In nature, the cubs will be killed because every time the new lion comes in, he has to bring food. He's not going to feed another lion's kids. This is how it is in nature. So And the mothers sit back and like, well, and you know what happens when the lion cubs are disposed of? They go in the heat. What I'm trying to get you to understand, ma'am, is you want to be a taken care of woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does your baby daddy do?
He lives, well, I'm from Michigan, so he's still in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
What does he do for a living?
He works for the big three. It's in the automotive industry.
Okay. Is he high ranking or is he on the factory?
No, he's in the factory.
Right. Is he on child support?
No, we're not. We don't have anything court ordered.
So, ma'am, this is going to sound harsh, but this sounds crazy. You want a man to come get you later in life, used with somebody else's kid, and put you up like a traditional wife, and the man you made a baby for ain't even doing nothing. That would make no sense for a man. Mm. And he can't even get a child out of you?
But what if it's like an older guy and he has his own children?
I'm older and I don't deal with single mothers. Mm-hmm. I got my own children. I would not take care of your child. There are plenty of young women out there with no kids. First off, the fact that you had, if you want the honest truth, the fact you had a child is a severe mark against you, because that means you don't make good decisions. Then I'm going to go vet the man who you had a child by. And if he ain't at least on my level, we got nothing to talk about. I'm not going to raise a lesser man's child. Bottom damn line. I am not going to bring you around my colleagues, friends, country club, this and that, and be dragging some bastard around from somebody else, because that's what the kid is called. And because if I did, they would ask, hey, you got married, you got a wife. Okay. Hey girl, who's your ex-husband? Oh, I wasn't married. Oh, okay. Well, where's your child? Oh, he's okay. So this is a doctor, this is a lawyer, this is an Indian chief, this is a pharmacist, this is a business owner, this is a this or this. And what is your child's father? Oh, okay. And you just sitting up in the suburbs, not paying any bills? You've been looking at too many Instagram.
But I know some women who are not married, but they're in relationships with.
Yes, that's right, ma'am. And understand. They'll deal with you. They'll have sex with you. They won't marry you. That's one of the things I talk about on this show. High value men look at legacy, and it doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make you bad. But what I'm saying is, you're talking about marriage, and you're not even gonna. Okay, let's see if we can put it this way. Do you know how to cook well?
Yes.
Do you have a recipe book?
No. I use like online, and then I learned recipes from my grandmother. She used to make.
Can you bake?
Yes.
All right. How tall are you?
5'4".
Dress size?
My what?
Dress size?
Small.
No. Dress size. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Oh, 4.
Okay. All right. How many tattoos do you have?
A lot.
You have any piercings?
Yes, but not visible.
Okay.
Just like my ears.
All right. Is your natural hair? Is it a wig? What?
No, I moved to Arizona, so I have not found a stylist yet. But in Detroit, I wore my natural hair all the time. I got my hair done every week.
But how long is your natural hair?
Like to my shoulder.
Okay. So, ma'am, this is where women start to get upset. I don't know. You're a high school graduate, right? Mm-hmm. You have lots of tattoos, piercings, someone else's child. 31, he's a 10-year-old. And now it sounds like you want to be Sally Homemaker and have a man pay all the bills. Why is that? Okay, if your son became an attorney, right? Or something like that.
I don't have a son.
Huh? Say what?
I don't have a son. It's
daughter?
A girl. Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. Well, let me just switch anyway. If you had a son, If you had a son and he had to go become an attorney and making $250,000 a year, would you want him bringing home a woman who had a child by another man? Would you want him bringing you home?
Well, I wouldn't have a problem with that, honestly. But again, I'm biased because I am a single mother, and I think it's
But you would want your son, out of all the women he could pick from, to pick a woman who has a child and doesn't want to have a child. That's what you want for your child.
I wouldn't see somebody with a child as a negative, though.
But that's the problem. It is, man. But that's the problem. That's the problem. It is. It is a big negative. And the fact that you ladies don't see, you look at your children and you love your children and you don't see it lowering your value. I see this across YouTube all the time, and it's delusion, ma'am.
But I wouldn't mind a man who has children, though.
But the difference is we got to take care of them. A man's not getting a kid from you. See, what you're not doing is, what are you bringing to the table except expectations? A man can't even get a child from you. So it's not like that's the deal. And then he's taking care of another child. That's a double negative.
So in terms of,
let me ask you this: Could your husband discipline your daughter?
Yeah, my husband.
Yeah. Could he whoop her?
My husband, yes.
Okay. Then and your daughter comes home and she's mad at your husband and she say he did XYZ. See, you ladies don't realize what you're asking for a man. You're asking for a man who has resources to put and means to put all that at risk. And you may be a perfectly lovely woman, man, but it comes down to what are you bringing to the table that's better than other women with no children, or women who may have a child and they want to give that man a kid. Your case is laden with, I don't see it moving. Especially not wanting to work. I don't know where they make y'all at like this. Where'd y'all grow up thinking this make sense?
I wouldn't mind. Like I definitely plan to work. Like I don't have no problem. I would never rely on someone.
You said you didn't want to have to work to pay significant bills. You said you didn't want.
I didn't want.
I asked what percentage of the family financial load do you want to have to be responsible for? None. You said you want somebody making a 200. I know what you said, ma'am. And the reality is you don't want to have the financial pressure. If you work or not work, you don't want it to impact the family in any way.
Right.
That's the reality, ma'am. Were you raised with this? Were you raised in a family like this?
Yes. Both my mom and dad are married, still married.
Okay.
But both my parents work.
Okay.
My dad.
But both your parents work, but your mom worked.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't you think you should have to? Why don't you want to have to work?
Her money was put towards like savings and like little stuff that she wanted to do.
But she worked.
Yeah.
How many siblings do you have? How many siblings do you have? How many siblings do you have?
2 other sisters.
Thank you. Your father got 3 kids out of your mom.
Yes.
Ma'am, you're not this person. You're not this person. And unfortunately, this is a good conversation because it shows the damage that this Disneyification has done to the Black community. The reality is this, ma'am. You're a high school graduate who had a baby at 20 for a factory worker. If you were an average looking woman, you would not be asking for all this. It is unreasonable. That is why you cannot find a husband. You can find people to date. You'll find people who have sex with you, they'll hook up. But as far as putting a ring on it, absolutely not. Not the kind of men you're making the kind of money you're talking about.
Okay, so in terms of solutions.
Lower your standards to match who you are.
Okay, so what do you think that is? So if I don't want to have either.
All right. Here's how we do this. Here's how we do this. What would you rank your looks on a scale from 1 to 10 fresh face out of the shower, your natural hair, and you can't use 7.
8.
You put I put Beyonce at around an 8, Kelly Rowland around a 9, Rihanna 10. You put yourself around Beyonce level.
Okay, Beyonce's an 8, then 6.
Okay, I give you a 6. You're cute. Cute is one step above average. And according to you, you're dress size 4, and you weigh about what? Approximately, what did you weigh the last time you weighed yourself?
165, 170.
165, 170? No, that ain't a dress size 4. You every bit of dress size 8.
Oh, I can go in my closet. All my dresses say small though.
Okay, so if you're 5'4", 180 pounds, you weigh more than a man at your height. I'm the image consultant. I know women's sizes. I used to do fashion merchandise. Unless you are an H cup, you're not 30 pounds of breast. The women I date deal with 5'4", 125 pounds, and I know what it looks like all the time. You 50 pounds more than that. That's 8. So that's already, you're too big.
So I just had like a significant weight loss. So I'm getting like skin removal, and I'm going through this whole process.
But see, that's the fact that you got to do all that when your competition is already that with no kids should let you know. You got to go through transformation to get to what we already want. And they got no baby. And you got a whole grown person. Man, you're a 6 and you're below average in your body. So that puts you right about average. You will be good to get a man making $50,000 a year, and you will work for the rest of your life. And that's a good deal. 72% of mothers in this country work full or part-time. Your mother worked, and your father got 3 kids out of it. The problem is you ladies ask for far too much, and you massively overestimate your sexual marketplace value. If you were a vehicle, you'd be a Honda. Reliable. So good, reliable, not insulting. It's good, reliable, but you use Honda. Go ahead. What are you asking?
So you're saying if at best, I would get a man who makes $50K and I would still have to work for the rest of my life, and I'm already working for the rest of my life and don't want to have any more kids, then do you think it's even beneficial to be in that situation?
Well, then who's going to, okay, see, so let me say this, audience. See, this is what, and I'm going to say this to the audience, not necessarily you. See, audience, this is what's been marketed to women. If a man can't pay all your bills, then what's the use of having a man? Let me ask you this then, man, before I answer that question. From 25 to 65, if you just make $50,000, if you make $50,000 a year, which is $20,000 more than the average woman, black woman, if you made that $50,000 and you got a cost of living raise every year of 3%, and if you stack $200 savings a month for 40 years, upon retirement at age 65, and you have a life expectancy to 85, you will need $2.9 million to live that last 20 years. At $50,000, you will have a $750,000 shortfall, meaning you won't have enough money to last the rest of your life. Where do you plan on getting the money to provide you for the rest of your life if you never get married and you only have one income? Uncle Sam won't have it. The government won't have it. There will be no Social Security. There are no homeless shelters. There are no Herculean methods. There is nothing to go to get it from. Whatever you thought would be out there doesn't exist. How you going to live in your elder years?
Right now, I actually have 2 full-time jobs in like an online business. So I'm prepared to. Do you make
in excess? Do you make in excess of $80,000 a year?
No, not yet.
Okay. Ma'am, it doesn't matter what you have. I gave you an example of 50,000, and that person is childless. Marriage is not an option for you, ma'am. It is a requirement. You need another income, and you need to get another income and then be grateful that somebody would be willing to marry you with a kid and deal with you. Because the reality is, when you hit 65, you're either going to be living in a cracker box, eating what you got to stretch money, deciding to pay your rent or your medication, because the government won't do it. They won't have the money. And see, the problem is women in your age range have been sold this fantasy about marriage to where you're only looking at men who are this and that, and then you put these outrageous things on it. I'm not going to have a kid, this and that. And ma'am, you don't have those options. And you just said it. You had a massive weight loss. How much weight did you lose? You say 40, 50, what?
150.
Oh, you got to be. You got to be. Have you been trolling me? That's pretty good if you have, though. You lost 150. You were 300 pounds.
I was.
Holy shit. I swear to God, y'all, I didn't pay her. I swear to God, I didn't pay her. I did not pay her. I swear to God, I did not pay her. I swear to God, I did not pay her. Ma'am, a 300-pound high school graduate with a baby.
Well, I'm not 300. This is my question. So if you're trying
ma'am, but before you, I don't care. But before you ask your question, I'll answer your question. But I got a real serious question. Where the hell do you get off having that kind of expectation? Below average.
I'm not 300 pounds now. I lost a significant amount of weight. I've done a lot of work on myself physically and spiritually and mentally. So you talked before about like pretty privilege and how it just gets you in the door and the type of person you are, who you are, what you bring to the table with, was what was going to get you a relationship or keep you a man or whatever. So I don't think the fact that I used to weigh 300 pounds would make me any less.
How long ago did you weigh 300 pounds?
4 years ago.
Ma'am, that ain't. Oh. A 300-pound woman who was the high school graduate with tattoos and piercings, and your baby daddy's a factory worker. You are the definition of average at best. You got a cuter face than average women. But I said you're 6. You put yourself up at an 8. Your standards are outrageous. So it doesn't matter if you're not 300 pounds now. You still got 300-pound leftover skin and all that stuff. But your attitude, you're not mean, you're not combative, but you're entitled. Like you're a princess, and the man supposed to go out and become a top 3% man to get an X 300-pound baby mama. That makes absolutely no logical sense, except online. I'm going to ask you a serious question. Have you ever had any kind of counseling or therapy?
I have. And I've had skin removal procedures already.
But ma'am, it doesn't matter. Okay, but ma'am, that's okay. The physical gets you in the door.
Right.
But you are far too entitled for who you are. Why do you think, as an average woman, you need an above average or a high earning man?
Because like you said, looks aren't everything.
Yeah, they're not. But why? Okay, what does that mean to you? Looks aren't everything.
I think like high school graduate means that I can't hold it doesn't mean I can't hold a conversation or I can't hold
I
my
never
own.
said that, but I'm not saying you couldn't hold your own. What I'm saying is there's no additional secondary education. So you're wanting a man who has to go get all that. What kind of men make in excess of $200,000? It's typically not a blue collar guy unless he owns something.
Yeah, like realtors. Like I've worked with
That's white collar.
high earning. Yeah.
But ma'am, that's a salesperson. That's a different. This is fascinating because I'm trying to ask a realistic question.
Okay.
Your mother and father were middle class people.
Hmm.
Where did you get this Fresh Prince of Bel Air mindset? You got a child at 20. Why do you think you should have a man who arguably is low grade rich? $250,000 is a lot of money. That's earning 6 times what the average black man earns. Why?
Well, I wouldn't. To me, or just from the people around me, I think that, like, you know, who I am or my personality or the type of woman that I am, you know, is deserving of that, even though I do have a child. Just like you said, money and
Is
things.
deserving, ma'am. Is deserving of that. What does that mean? Your personality, meaning you're pleasurable to be around.
Yeah, like even though you said I have an entitled attitude, I'm a princess. I think that there are, you said a guy could find someone who's younger that doesn't have kids,
Yes.
but that doesn't mean that they're grounded, or you know, like you can find
Ma'am, you're not grounded
in.
but ma'am, I'm trying to be as okay. You may be nicer than Bonquisha and Kilolo, but that does not mean you're the kind of okay. Let me also just put it this way: you're not just competing against black women at that level. You're competing against all women. You're competing against the women that are around that man. When that man is in a room, you need to look at the women that are going after him. They don't have a bunch of hand tattoos and piercings. You may be nice, ma'am, and agreeable, and you may be better than your friends. But if I take you into a room with these men, they're not going to look at you like they're going to look at other women. You would be fun. You would not be wife. Soon as they hear you're 31 and a 10-year-old, you're out. That's it. That's over. They're not going to do that. It doesn't matter that you just went to high school, because going to college just means that you're around the other wives and they got something to talk about. Like it or not, social class comes into it, and they do look down on women who are just high school graduates. Like it or not, they do. Unless you come from a long line of wives, the wives will be like, oh, okay. They're gonna look down on you. I'm not gonna lie. And then they're gonna ask who the child's father is. All this matters is social class, and we gotta have this conversation. I'm gonna do a broadcast next week on octane levels, because we don't talk about social class enough in the black community. But I will tell you that I've had more conversations with women who will tell you that they either didn't match up to their boyfriend's social class, or the men didn't match up to the woman's. It matters in the black community. It matters everywhere. And I'm not understanding why a woman who had a child and who weighed as much as you did, and who the child's father is, why you set your sights so exorbitantly high. Does your father make $250,000 a year?
Yes, he has a full-time career and he owns multiple businesses.
Okay. And did he make that amount of money at your age?
Probably not.
No. And reason people catching in, this is a woman who doesn't want to have any additional children.
Yeah, that's why initially I was saying I was open to dating older or,
Older doesn't mean fool, ma'am. Okay, I'm trying to be as nice as I can, but still, I'm an older man. The women I deal with, take me out of it. The men that I know age gap date, women who are 10 years younger than them minimum. They don't date baby mamas. Baby mamas are not in the equation. And the guys that do have children
right,
still prefer not to date baby mamas because they don't want to pay another bill. That child is a bill. And you don't really want to have to work. So that means you're going to be giving that bill to your man. What are you bringing to the table that's better than Brenda or Tammy or Anu or Maylene or miscellaneous black woman? What are you bringing to the table that's better than all these women to where a man has to pay for another man's child and can't have one from you? You got to answer that in the marketplace. Your standards are your standards, fine, but you are shooting far past your S&V. Your S&V is average, and that's giving you an adjustment for a more pleasant face, but your body is below. So that averages out to average. But here's the problem: if even if we gave you an average of 5, right? If you watch my broadcast, a kid knocks you down by 2 points. That puts you what? At 3. 4 on a good day, but that's below average. And I'll round this out. Have you ever been engaged?
no.
Okay. It's the longest relationship you ever had with anybody.
You said, what is the longest relationship?
Longest.
7 years.
Was that your child's father?
It is.
All right. And what age was that over?
27.
And why didn't you guys marry?
He wasn't faithful. He was like dishonest.
How much was he making a year annually? About?
I couldn't say 30, 40,000.
He's making $15 to $20 an hour?
Yeah, about.
And now all of a sudden you think you should just jump up to $100.
Okay, this is one thing. Like when I was bigger and I was making more and I was paying bills and everything like that, I was accepting less and settling because I was like,
you were accepting what you were. You were accepting what you were. It's not less, it's what you are.
But what I weigh is not what I am.
Yes, so it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's what you ladies keep saying. Yes, it is, ma'am. You cannot. Men on that level aren't checking for you, not for wife. You ain't been engaged to one. Are you even dating one seriously?
Well, I just moved here, so I've been on a few dates, but I haven't seriously been out.
Okay, and how long you been here?
Since the beginning of this year.
Since January. 7 months. In Arizona. Phoenix, Tucson, Scottsdale.
Phoenix area. Like North
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
If you were that chick, you'd have had him by now. They are there. You're in denial. You've left your home. These men exist in Phoenix, Tucson, Scottsdale in particular. Man, at this pace, if you don't adjust your standard to match who you really are and stop talking about settling, and you need to right size this. And I need
Okay.
you to hear something. And it's going to sound harsh, but it's going to be some good advice. The man you're talking about will be settling for you. Because he's taking on you and another man's child with the knowledge he won't get one. That man is settling for you. So the way you got this is you got a man who's up here at a 9 level and you down here at a 3 or 4 level, talking about what you deserve. When you really should have a man at about a 5 level, maybe 6, and be happy to get him. This won't work. I don't think, I mean, if you're being honest with who you are, man, I don't think the kind of man that actually fits you, you would treat them I don't think you would really appreciate them because you sound like you think they're settling. But I've said this and I'm going to get to the next person. Thank you for being respectful. But, man, I often tell women, your baby daddy is your limit. That's as high as you get. That's who you made a baby for. That's who you gave the highest honor a woman can give a man, and that's who you were with for 7 years. You cannot make up for mistakes of your youth when you're older, more used, and somebody's kids. That would be a horrible deal. And the only man that would do that would be a man who has no counsel for anybody, because if he had friends, they would say, do not do this. If he has brothers, they would say, if I had a friend that was in this, I would, hell no. No. And it's not because you may not be a nice person. It's just a bad deal. But thank you for being polite. Have a nice night. Oh, my God. Hell no. No. And it's not because you may not be a You got it. I got nothing. I got nothing, Courtney. Go ahead. Hello. Courtney?
Hey.
Hi. I got nothing.
Hey. We back.
Yeah, we back. You just been back for about 15 seconds. I've got nothing.
You know what? Let me tell you about me. Because, I'm honest with myself. I've not only hit the wall, I'm in no man's land. Okay. So I'm able to understand where I am. And it's so hard. I don't understand why women don't understand that. I said on the last show of Lapeef, I said, if you got a heartbeat and a job, we can make it work.
There you go. I don't.
You got a 401k? All right, let's make it work. I don't understand it. I don't.
It is rare that I'm at a loss for words. When I had to leave, I was like, wait a minute. I mean, and see, I think what's happened is a lot of women have heard femininity and pleasant and think that that's going to really supercharge a desire. And I'm like, why set a goal that high? I can't get my mind around it. I just really can't.
I don't understand it. And okay, oh, I guess I just don't understand. Well, no, let me take it back. I did, because I was that. But because I wasn't willing to look at myself. Well, Kevin, it's a whole lot of you're doing the work. I've always told people you doing God's work. But the work has to be where, we have to be indoctrinated of what we have been told or what we've been taught. And again, for me, I was always taught that I was the prize. And I would have to settle for a good man making 50, not even 50K, 40, let's say 45K. That's a settlement.
Courtney, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm just It's
Don't
rare
be,
that
don't,
it's rare that I'm at a loss, but I think I see what needs to kind of start happening, and it is a conversation that's going to start happening from women to woman, maybe in
yeah.
person, maybe behind the scenes. But these unrealistic expectations are damaging our community. I got a few more people. I'm gonna hit you up on IG after this.
Okay, I'll chill out. I'll look and I'll cry with you.
Peace out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Phaedra. Let me. Oh my. Hello.
Hello,
Hey, how are you?
doing well.
Good.
Um,
What do you got for me? Oh, you
um,
got it. Now you got. You sound like you got either the TV on or something.
no, I'm in my room by myself.
Okay, go
Nothing's
ahead.
on.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. So when it comes to the question, why can't women handle the truth? I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think for women, um, how you deliver the message does matter. I think for any human, it matters how you deliver the message. I've learned that over my years. I like to be straightforward and to the point. And then as I got older, I realized just because you mean well and you say things that are factual doesn't mean people are going to receive them. And I learned that if you say them more diplomatically as well as more tactfully, then
Where'd you learn this at?
just life experience, just even just
First off,
regular.
how old are you? I didn't get that. I should normally ask.
I'm 29.
29 years old. So, um, if we could just go ahead and whittle this down to the basics, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mhm.
How do you tell people that are in massive denial? How do you tell a falling down alcoholic or leaning over heroin addict or fence climbing crackhead or meth addict that they need to stop that? How do you do that?
I've had those conversations where
Yeah,
I've
yeah. How
just
do you do it though? How do you do it though?
just say it, I guess. That's
No, no,
true.
no, 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 no. So you go and talk to him nicely. Yeah, you know that heroin you're slamming into your veins is killing you. Tell me, come on, walk me through it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a personal experience with an alcoholic where I just said, you have to stop. It's
Mm-hmm.
hurting your family, it's hurting
Mm-hmm.
people that you love, and it's not
Did they
beneficial
stop?
to you.
Did they stop?
Oh, absolutely not.
What really?
Yeah, because
Okay.
alcoholics, when you're addicted,
No, 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 no. No, I'm just challenging what you're saying. So the loving approach didn't work. Okay. Then tell me what
I've done
happens
it
when,
hard too. I've had a
excuse
person.
me, but tell me what happens when you put an intervention in place and there are consequences behind that intervention.
No, I've never done that because
Oh,
I
I
think
have.
that's.
See, I used to actually be an alcoholic and drug counselor.
Mhm.
See, what you're saying, man, doesn't work. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel better because you feel like you're being heard. You're not gaining
Okay.
compliance. They're not doing a doggone thing different. Do you have any children?
No.
Uh-huh. Do you ever want to get married?
Yes.
You want children one day?
Of course.
I want you to go to your little boy when he's about 4 years old, and I want you to tell him, "Hey, Tom, I need you to clean your room and make your bed." Da, 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 da. And then when he doesn't do it for the 10th time, and then you realize that you're going to have to raise your voice and threaten to get in that ass, and
Hmm.
then realize what he does, then come back to me with that. Because what you're saying, man, makes the communicator feel better. Does it get the outcome?
But isn't that kind of what you're trying to do, is to get the outcome of Black women being better for Black men?
Right. And we've communicated the way you're talking about for all my lifetime, and black women have gotten worse. Ma'am, is that even up for dispute? Do you know your grandmother and great grandmother?
No,
Did you know your grandmother?
no.
Uh-huh. Do you know women? How old is your mother?
My mother passed away
How
when I was
29?
like, yeah, I'm 29, so she passed away like when I was 3 or
Do you know
4.
do you know any women in the 75-year-old or older range.
Yes.
You know, women in the 80-year-old range.
No.
The women in the 75-year-old range. Well, maybe you just don't have any point of reference. But today's modern woman is nowhere near as serious as the women used to be.
Okay.
And the point is because those women didn't balk at the realities of life. They had real problems, real segregation, coloreds only. And we talk about outcomes. When you went to church, there wasn't this prosperity gospel. It was fire, brimstone, Old Testament, you're going to hell. You can't be up in the church with 3 kids by 4 different dudes sitting on the front row talking about have mercy, Lord. No, you're a hoe.
Oh boy.
What does it make you? This is the church we talk about, ma'am. Why you say, oh my God? This is the church we're talking about.
I'm aware that I think the
So what's
difference.
the whoa, what's the old Lord? What's the old? So what should we do? When the woman come up in the church of 4 kids or 3 kids by 4 men or 4 kids by 3 men, what we supposed to do?
I know that's kind of how it was, but I think the shift to not do that is so people don't despise you. A lot of people that I know.
Okay. And how is the black community today? Do you think the black community is better off today in 2021 or back in 1951?
I mean,
What do you think?
pro-blacks. I would say 1951. At least people were together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's when we had all that stuff that made people despise you. But we also had some standards. We didn't have women arguing about wearing goddamn bonnets and flip flops and house shoes and everybody else's hair sticking out their head.
Okay.
Man, we have no standards in our community. And the very people who are supposed to teach the standards, communicate the culture, are who does that in the human race? Is it the male or the female? The first teacher of the child.
Oh, the mom.
The first teacher of the child is a communicator and teacher of the culture.
Yeah, I would say the mom.
Huh?
I would say the mother.
Yeah, so who teaches the culture?
The black woman.
The mother of every culture. So what is our culture? Can't tell me nothing. Yeah, can't tell me nothing. Only God can judge me. I can do what I want. My best life.
That's what.
Are black women actually doing okay these days? I mean, let's just look at some stats. 8 out of 10 black women are overweight. And 80% of that number is obese. 1 out of 4 black women can expect to marry in their lifetime. The average earning of a black female in this country is $27,800. 80% of all black children are born outside of wedlock. Black women divorce at a rate twice as high as they marry. All of these numbers are irrespective of who a black woman is with. It is period. Statistically, regardless as to who the mate is at the bottom. And when you go out in the world, are you seeing black women winning as the norm or losing?
I mean, I have a small circle. So the women that I'm around.
I said when you go out in the world?
Even when I go out in the world.
As you go out in the world, I don't mean your circle, not anecdotal.
Yeah. When I go out into the world, I see women go out. I see them travel. I see them enjoying.
Are they winning or are they losing?
No, I think people who are enjoying life are winning.
You're not going to slide around me that way. I'm going to do it one more time. Then I'm going to apply more pressure. I asked a very specific question. If you want to play with me, I'll play with you. When you go out in the world, do you see black women as the norm, winning or losing? Please don't play with me.
I'm not playing. I literally see black women winning.
Then you're a damn fool.
I mean, you could
all those statistics from
Yes.
blackdemographics.com for black statistics for black people by black people. That sounds like a winning formula. 1 in 4 married, 80% overweight, 80% of our children born out of wedlock, earning $27,800. That is winning.
No, you're
Then,
right.
ma'am,
Yes.
you go out into the world the rest of us go out into. And after every number I just gave you, you're still spouting this prosperity, the sky is beautiful bullshit. And that's the stuff that hurts our women. Women like you who refuse to acknowledge the truth. Just because you know a few or because you see your anecdotal, when you look at the entire picture and
Right.
you refuse to acknowledge the truth.
Yeah. No, I acknowledge your stats. I think
No, it's
those
not my
truths-
facts. They're not my facts, ma'am. They are
True.
just facts.
Yes, the facts.
And
I
what state do you
acknowledge
live
that.
in?
I'm all over the place. I'm trying to move to Philadelphia.
What
So
state do you
that's
currently live in?
New York, and I'm between New York and North Carolina.
New York City?
Long Island.
Long Island. So Long Island, I'm sorry, man, it's one of the 5 boroughs. When I'm in New York, I walk around and I don't see black women winning.
Okay. So maybe we have a different definition of what winning is.
Okay, let's look at it this way. Most women, by the time they're your age, are they of other races, are most married or single?
I presume they're married.
Well, according to the facts, the next lowest group of women that are married are white women, and rate of 54%. And the average marital rate is 27.8 years old. So most women, by the time they're your age, have a husband.
Okay.
So the average black woman, 91% of black women earn less than $75,000 a year. What is it? 50, let me pull up the number. 91% of that. So it's close, somewhere close to, yeah, let's pull up the exact number. But $75,000 a year, that's going to be enough to basically equate for 2 incomes, right? Because the average black man makes around $41,200. Let's say 17% of black women earn $50,000 to $75,000. So 26% of black women earn $50,000 or more. So that means 74%, 3 out of 4 earn less than $50,000. I've already run the numbers on that, man. Even if you live to be at the age of 85, you're going to have a shortfall of close to $1 million. If you can't even afford to live, how are you winning? You can't live.
I'm sorry for all the
You can't.
back, sorry.
You can't live. You can't win if you can't live. If 74% of black women are making less than $50,000, how's that winning? What is rent in New York, in Long Island?
I don't know, $2,000, $1,500.
$2,000. No, it's on $2,000 on the low side.
Yeah,
That's $24,000 a year. $24,000 a year. That's half of your pay if you're making $50,000. So you got to have a roommate. Oh, that used to be called a husband. Please tell me how black women are winning where you're at. I'm dying to know.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. We have different views of winning. My view of winning is seeing them happy, but you're saying that's like
happy?
Yes.
Happy. How are you happy? Living paycheck to paycheck, 80% overweight, 80% of that obese. You think black women are happy when 1 in 4 report being on some sort of psych med?
Is that bad? Being on psych meds? Like that is a brain.
Holy Jesus Christ.
That's a brain thing.
Right. So you're saying today women are happy. Women today of all races report happiness being down. But in our community, it's at damn near critical levels.
Does
And I'm
it change?
trying. Excuse me.
Does it change based on age?
Yeah, the older they get, the worse it gets. The happiness curve for women and men invert at age 40. At 48, it drops off the cliff. Whatever purple Kool-Aid you're drinking, ma'am, you need to stop. Because this is a woman who you live in Long Island and you report, because you see people walking around. Okay. So what you're basically trying to say is an average black woman earning $50,000 or less, 8 out of 10 are overweight. May have a child, may not have a child, but if they do have a child, 80% of those have no father in the household. So you're talking about a woman who's overweight, a child making less than $50,000 a year. She's happy.
I'm not. Okay. I can't quantify somebody's happy. I'm going by what I see. People look happy. However, people look happy. They look like they're having a good time when I'm out brunching, whatever. But I also can't quantify that happiness. Maybe being overweight.
Excuse me, ma'am. Brunching? Yeah. Where do you go to brunch?
Whenever city I'm in, I'm brunching. Right now I'm in Philly. I'm going to brunch tomorrow.
Now I'm about to slap the crap out of you because brunching. Excuse me, ma'am. Brunching is not what average people do. No comeback? Or did the reality just hit you? Brunching is not what average people do.
Okay. Fair enough.
Right.
That's fine. My view is.
So when you're out brunching, you're around other people brunching. And almond milk?
Boxed water.
Boxed water. We're talking about people who drink freaking tap water, lady.
I'm at a hotel. Okay.
So this is when I start to get silly. When I get women like you coming here trying to tell me to be sugar and spice and everything nice, when you're fucking brunching, drinking boxed water at a hotel, trying to project your myopic, small, tiny life onto the black community, black women as a whole, you need to listen. Because we're in crisis, and women are not happy. Women are happiest when they have social network, and it is not normal for women. It is against our evolutionary biology for the female of any species to live solitary, single. You've not even evolved to be able to survive without the group. So just because you can go get you a funky ass degree and a job doesn't make you happy. You can walk around smiling at brunch, but that ain't what makes women happy. Why do I have a show that's been going on for the longest and I got a whole sound?
I'm a PhD.
Degree after degree after this, after that, and all looking for the same thing. Where's my husband? Where's my I want this, want that? They're not happy. And talking to them like you, hey sis, have brunch. It'll be all right. Look at her. She's happy. Here's some boxed water. It'll be all right. They doesn't get the outcome. They need to be shocked into the reality. Did you hear the woman I just talked to?
Yes, I was.
300 pounds, wanting a $250,000 earner and didn't even want to have a kid. What amount of sugar and spice was going to get through to that?
But you were nice to her, so I think she got it now.
No, she didn't.
Okay. I hope so. Okay. Maybe I'm a little bit altruistic, fair. But now if you're going to say women in particular, evolutionarily wise.
When was the last time you had a relationship?
Right now.
How long's it been?
About 7 months.
That's the longest relationship you've ever had?
Feel like 8 months, not long.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I'm getting you're socially awkward.
Not socially awkward.
You've never really had a relationship. That's the
That's
point.
true. But
I
it's not
know.
socially
That's why I'm talking to somebody who has absolutely no experience. It's all theoretical for you.
okay. That's fair.
I know. So you should be quiet.
Okay, so
And
then what
listen
am I?
and listen because theory, ma'am, is great. College is great for theory, but you got to get in the world. And the problem is you're taking the college level theory and it's coloring how you see the world. You're not even seeing the world as it is. You're seeing it through rose colored glasses. Well, if that's the case, then our neighborhood should be better off if women are just so happy. If what's working, why are black boys being reading at a fourth grade level? Why is our community worse off today with no real racism, segregation, Jim Crow, or any of this stuff? Why? We make more money, have more disposable income, but people are miserable. Well, we were happier back in the 50s, even according to you.
hmm But I think that shift of what you like to call as a modern woman not having to depend on someone else um, is I don't know if that makes people unhappy. I just
Oh, you depend on somebody else. It's just not a husband. What modern women are finding is they don't have what they needed. They don't have a husband, but you damn sure need a man because something happened. First thing you do is dial 911 and you want a man to show up. See, what women did was replace the government for their man, and black women were the only group of women stupid enough to choose that. Even white folks couldn't understand why, when black male unemployment started to go down, black female welfare enrollment continued to go up. The Moynihan report in the 60s said, well, this is unusual because traditionally, when male employment goes down, male employment goes up, meaning men are working, welfare enrollment tends to go the same way. But what they noticed is as black men were reaching full employment, welfare was continuing to grow because at that time, black women were choosing meager government benefits over having a man in the house. So just because you can work, if the average black woman in this country is earning less than $30,000 a year, where in the world can you think you can live a happy, healthy, functional life with less than $15 a mother flipping hour until you die? Where? Nowhere. I just told you less than 74% of black women make less than $50,000 a year. That's degreed and all. So you've been taught to, because I can get a female roommate, or I can have this, I can have that, because I am not being physically hit over the head by a man and my door locks and no one kicks it in, I'm happy. No, you're not. You want to know how we know this? Think about when the corona happened and everybody was locked in. That's when women finally had in our community a chance to see what it's like to not go to work all day, to be distracted by a job, to not be able to go talk to your or spend time with your girlfriends. They had to sit in their houses, their apartments, alone. And to the right, to the left of them, nothing. Maybe they had a kid, maybe they didn't. That's when this show took off because it took an act of God, a harsh slap to jolt modern women into realizing that this ain't it. So what I'm gonna need you to do is to stop thinking that you are the norm. I just need you and women like you to start realizing that you may have an opinion, and it's just fine. Can't judge anybody's opinion, but it's not based in any observable, livable facts. You've had no relationships over a year, which at your age is weird. Keep living, keep seeing what goes on. Have a, hopefully it works out for you because at least you haven't had any downsides. But, ma'am, whatever you plan on doing, I hope you at least understand whether or not you want to be with somebody, not be with somebody, want kids, not want kids, because relationships are not optional for most human beings. Unless you plan on making the income of what a man makes and what you make, and plan on actually facilitating and stocking it away, you're going to need somebody else.
Okay.
That's what women do.
Okay. That's a financial thing. I think when I think about myself, I feel like whoever I'm going to end up with is going to make significantly less than me.
Uh-huh.
And to me, I feel like I want to be married. I want to have kids.
Okay.
Men that I've tried to date feel like they have the need to be needed. And when they realize that they don't need to be needed, it's a problem. It causes rifts.
Well, now I can go with you on this. I can. I really can. Because as a professional woman, you make in excess of 6 figures?
Let's do it.
Okay. Then I can't go with you. Because I need you to check the CEO of Pepsi Company, who was a multimillionaire, but she came home and submitted to her man. It's not a man needs to feel needed. He needs his woman to submit regardless as to what she's making. And the woman I'm talking to does not fit that bill. He fit the bill of a modern woman who wants to be treated equal. Then you need to fight me in the ring for it.
What is wrong with that? Wanting to?
Because we're not equal. Marriage is not a partnership. Huh. You're not my equal.
What am I then?
My subordinate.
Yikes.
What the fuck?
Yikes. Oh.
How tall are you?
5'3".
Dress size?
6'8".
6 or 8?
6'8". Yeah.
Ma'am, the average female's hand strength is 17 times weaker than a man. The average female cannot manipulate the environment enough to survive. This is why women need the group. You are not my equal. If you are sitting there with your man right now and someone kicked in the door, do you expect to stand side by side, shoulder to shoulder with him? Taking on the intruder?
Me personally?
Yes.
I'm the one I'm licensed to shoot, so I'd be the one out front.
No. Fuck your gun. I'm saying side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Not your gun.
Not my
what
gun.
God
no
gave
gun?
you. No, what God gave you.
Nah, you're right. If I didn't have a gun, I'm not the first.
You're insane. This is insane. Yeah. I'm talking to a woman who actually thinks you're equal to a man. See, this is going to sound harsh. But see, back in the day, women used to at least understand their place.
See, like I think terms like that.
You do have a place.
Okay.
Are you a Christian?
I'm not particularly religious.
Well, we talked about church. Okay, ma'am. Okay, where in the world, especially in mammals, is the female typically stronger and more dominant than the male?
I can't think of any.
Because it doesn't exist as the norm. Human beings, Homo sapiens, are the same way. The average female is 30 to 40% smaller. The problem in the black community is our women are getting too large. That is why so many women tend to think they're on the level of men, because many of our women weigh more than men at their height. As far as brain cognitive differences, there's no real discernible difference between male and female, but there is a difference between emotional differences. Women tend to run their logic through their emotions. You females are not and have never been superior to males on this planet. Name me 5 great female inventors. I'll give you one. Madame Curie. Go. They don't exist. Name me 10 great women in science, engineering, technology, and math. Go.
You're not 10.
Right. The infrastructure that powers your world is built and maintained by whom? Thank you. The largest two employers of black women are the federal government and retail. That's why there's a wage gap. There's a wage gap because the jobs the women tend to choose. Do you think that we should have more women represented at the higher levels of business, corporations, and things like that?
Yes,
You do?
I do.
You do? Well, then I agree with you. We should have equal representation. So I also want you to be more represented at the shit ends. I need you to be the ditch diggers, the front line of the military. I need you to be doing the deep sea blowout protection in the wells, in the mines, all that stuff, right? Because we need equal representation, right? Right? So we need to be equally represented as firefighters and policemen, but with no tests that are weighted or balanced for female physique. We're equal, right? So you need to be able to do a 200-pound dead man carry like a firefighter to get the same benefits, right? That's what you want, right? Name me any Fortune 500 or 2,000 company that was built and founded by women. They don't exist. The way women get their money, the top 10% of the top 10% of females with the most money in this country, you know where their money comes from? Marriage, inheritance. It comes from men.
Okay.
You're not our equals. So if that's the case, who runs the world? Who built it?
Those are two different questions.
No,
but
who built? No, those are two same questions. Who built it?
Men
Who
built the
built?
world.
Then the person that built it runs it. Because, dear, if
Yeah.
if you're not running it, okay, go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say.
Well, I was going to say, because historically weren't allowed to partake in it.
Oh, bullshit. We're talking about in the last 100 years. Women can do whatever the hell they want. You haven't chosen. The Netherlands has proved that. One of the most egalitarian societies on the planet. When men and women are left alone, they sort themselves. Men are overwhelmingly engineers and women are overwhelmingly teachers. Women don't choose the kind of work women don't choose the same work as men. It's not as though you were kept out of it. You don't choose it. Right now in this country, universities are begging for women to go into science, engineering, technology, and math, offering scholarships that go unfulfilled because women refuse to go. Give me some more feminist bullshit.
It's not feminist.
It is feminist bullshit. It's not true.
Well, I'm in the STEM community, so I see what it
You're
happens.
in the STEM community, and you should understand that they actively are trying to get more women in, and women do not choose to go. But where are women? But you know what? Where do women choose to go? They're overrepresented in healthcare because that's what women choose to do. But the infrastructure, the things that keeps the world spinning, power, infrastructure, built by men, run by men. It's not because women can't do it. Women choose not to do it.
But there is research I've read.
Don't give a shit if you're in research. Research is not practical. We just did that earlier. You live a life of theory and research. Practicality is different.
Okay. I don't know. I'm thinking from a personal experience, I can see why women don't want to be a part of the STEM community. It's rough being around men all day.
Well, then get a fucking cat and die alone. Nobody cares if y'all want to be around us or not. We don't care. Here's the thing. Y'all need us more than we need you. So if they don't want to be around men, fine. Let me tell you something. I'm going to say something right now to all you women. You need our attention. You need our validation. We are your reason for being. That's why you're starting to see women talk about, men aren't even starting to approach pretty women anymore. In the next 5 years, y'all are really going to understand your place. You need us and we need you. It is not as though we're independent. It is interdependence. And for far too long, you guys have been allowed to walk around like you can do this by yourself. You can't. You're hearing women today complain right here on Instagram. I went out and I was looking good, and certainly no guys are approaching me. They won't even open the door for me and buy drinks. Well, you said you're independent, don't need no man. And now you're getting exactly what you want. Atlas is starting to shrug. So you may be an asexual, amorphous being, but most women don't want to live like you. Most women want a dick in the house. Most women want a man. Most women understand what men are for. Most women aren't in STEM. Most women are in, like I said, retail, government. They don't live like you. So, but you're not most women. But if you say you want to have a husband and you do want a husband and children one day, right? Do you want your daughter to be this way too, or do you want her to?
Do I want her to be independent?
Man, you can be. You're not independent. It's interdependent. Human beings are social animals.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yes, sure.
How can you be independent if you can't pay for yourself? 9% of women earn enough to cover 2 incomes. So you're going to push your daughter to be in that 9%. So good luck. This is the modern woman, folks.
I don't know if it's a push.
Yeah. This is the modern woman, and here's the thing: as long as you're doing what makes you happy, cool. But what I find in more women like yourself is just you don't know how to be with anybody. Women who tend to be socially awkward tend to make decisions out of fear, scarcity, and lack. It's not that this is what you really want, and you don't know how to do any better. So what tends to happen is you're 29. When you hit about your mid-30s, and you start to see your colleagues start to separate, and you start to see that there is a cap on you. There's a marriage cap on everybody, by the way, in corporate America. People don't tend to ascend past a certain place who aren't married. So you still can remember your 20s, but when you get in your mid-30s, you're going to start to see the shift. That's why I call 27 to 35 the danger zone. And right now, it's a lot of theory for you. But the reality for all women is you've evolved to where you need to get the major portions of your life together sooner. There's a biological clock. Your body starts to shut off options. The more you get into your 30s, even if you want children, you have to go make sure that you can still conceive, carry healthily. Black women are 3 times more likely to get fibroids. All kinds of things that go on that we have just told women to go get jobs and make money as if that makes women happy. It doesn't. And and I would tell you, one of the surest ways to know is you can look at a woman's physique. 80% of our women are overweight. I think 80% of our women are unhappy.
Wow. I don't know if I would. That's kind of harsh.
Well, as one person who lives in fairy tale and one person who lives, works, and deals with reality every day, I trust what I got to say more than I will put any stock in what you have. I have more interactions and touches, man. I have lived all over. I travel all over. I see I don't trust what you see. I've asked you to say what you see, and what you see is brunching and box water. That's cool. Brunching and box water. Enjoy. Female incels. Female incels. Yep. That's what that is. Oh, it's late. I gotta go. This has been a long night. That was dope. So we had our What We Can Do Better show. That was good. Femcells. Yeah, man. So let's see if we got any more. Come get your box. Yeah, come get your box. Next week we're gonna have the 1 million subscriber celebration. Now she was a good sport. But that was kind of good to kind of, I've talked to her before, man. And here's the thing. I only deal with professional women. I deal with women who are professional, sophisticated, classy, educated, can hold a conversation, total package, look good. Remember the old template in the black community? Everybody wanted everybody to be like Claire Huxtable. Yeah, very Claire Huxtable-like without the feminist leaning. Without the feminist leanings. And there's a little bit of something for everybody. But at the end of the day, look, man, women, you're going to have to make a deal with a guy. All you need is one. But the notion of being independent, in my personal opinion, has really hampered the black community because we got two solitary people out here trying to do the work that we're competing against couples and they're doing. Can't do it that way. This is why so many of our people, this is why, when men got so angry with me before I started speaking to the women, I was talking about how to move up in corporate America, do this, do that. And I started talking about the marriage cap, the marriage tax. Guys got mad when I started saying, look, if you plan on working in corporate America, you have to look at the director level and higher. The vast majority of people at that level are married or have been married. And, and I get people asking, well, why are you such a proponent for marriage? Well, if you're going to be in corporate America and plan to ascend, you got to play the game as it is. Now, is it a good deal for average men? Well, I want to go back to the woman that was, average, looking for $250,000 a year dude. I need my critics and detractors to understand that the women like her, when my grandmother's generation, they were happy to find average guys like my grandfather. Women like her think they're 10 times better than my grandfather, many after having a child for men below my grandfather. Sit on that one. Can't make this stuff up. Missed the show on Friday. We'll continue next week. And then I have a vacation coming up too, guys. I'll announce it ahead of time. And then when we come back, we're going to start kicking off the beginning of the new season where I have actual interviews, people scheduled. You'll love what's coming up. Thank you to all the... Oh, let me also mention this. I asked about some of the things you could do better. Somebody mentioned about, being on time. Understand something. This is as good as it gets. It's a one-man show, and I do this show Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock. Not to be rude, but you're not paying me to be on time. I get as close as possible. And the few times I've been late, you get over it. I think some of you have an unrealistic expectation about online media. It's not TV broadcasting. Many of your favorite vloggers, podcasters are doing the job that they're, like when I went to TI, there were 12, 13 people doing what I do. So be happy you actually have consistent content to come through. The other thing about the whole notion of the tone police, I don't think people really understand that the tone is not the issue. The issue is the truth. And the truth is being given out dose by dose to people. We spent years talking to guys. Ladies, you're going to have to start talking to one another and having these difficult conversations with each other. Because the woman like the women I talk to, they need to be talked to by women. Because even they still tune most men out. Think we're just speaking for yourself or this or that. But last and least, like the first woman said, stop listening to these older women with no men. They sound like they're on your side. Don't listen to him, girl. Where's his woman? You cannot listen to women who are foul-mouthed, vulgar, aggressive, tend to be very overly sexual. And I'm not saying anything wrong with sex, but like when your woman has to always talk about sex, it's like, damn, what else is there to you? I mean, if you take that out of life, what? I don't know many men who really want to deal with that. a woman that talk like that. Hook up with her, sure, but long term, nah. But hey, whatever floats your boat. But at the end of the day, ladies, fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, say yes more than you say no. Hold your tongue and try to listen to what the men are saying. And the last piece, that whole notion of keeping your money to the side, this, that. I'm going to say this specifically to black women. You need to start learning how to give to your men, your black men. This is the crack that a lot of non-black women are coming through. They hear brothers talk about how a woman never wrote them a love letter or said nothing nice to them or did nothing nice to them. Is, and gimme. This is how they come in. I'm gonna do a whole show on how non-black women are ending up running the table with some of your best men, as you would say, and then you get mad because they walk out. Well, are you nice to the brother? Did you buy him something for his birthday? But what did you get him? Something at work happened outside of sex, and maybe a meal, picking up dinner and picking up the check ain't enough. And having sex is, you get something too. We're going to have to talk about gifting, learning how to give to men, especially the kind of men you want, because the kind of men that a lot of women say they want, these high value men. Oh, see, I want the guys who are high value to give you great gifts and great trips and great this, great that. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Oh, that's gonna set ablaze. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's been a hell of a show. Next week we get into it, and till next time, you know how we do it. God, it's late, man. But your Godfather tries to stay on the schedule. Tries to stay on the schedule. So if I don't always start at 10, we still gonna do it. Peace. We're gone, baby Baba. Shout out to the Southern Belle. Hey, Courtney. I need to do a Courtney makeup style over. Woo! Y'all, I don't know if y'all be able to handle that before. Your Godfather does his style magic on Courtney. Oh man, y'all be like, Courtney, I don't know if they can handle that. Yeah, man. Okay. 2 a.m. box lunch, I know, right? Boy. Oh, my. Next week? Oh my God. Interracial dating week? Oh, that'll be crazy. Oh my God. I might need a bodyguard. Oh man, but anyway. Gotta run, people. There's something about a 5'4". Just with nice hips. Wow, bang. Oh, just. Woo. Yummy. Yummy. Yummy.